there's a resting where there's a seamlessness and an incomprehensible, infinite, loving radiance. And all the other parts and pieces that I've spoken about for years are all still present, but they're all intrinsic and it's more like digestion, where if you were identified with a particular enzyme, you'd be having a particular experience of meeting things, feeling your purpose and the call to engage with certain external things, right? Certain enzymes go for certain things and other ones go for others, like that intrinsic purpose and call to alignment. And then you know your terrain, and you know the movement of things. Things usually come from this direction and flow through that direction. And then you engage as you're called. And then you wake up to yourself as, intestines. Whoa! Look at all this stuff inside. Wow, all this activity, all this engagement, and things breaking down, and things coming in, and things being absorbed, and things being passed out. Wow, And then you wake up to, an abdominal cavity. Whoa, look at all the turns and curves of this intestines and all the stuff that's happening inside, and absorptions like coming through those walls, and other things are going this way, and you open up to suddenly being a liver and producing the enzymes and the lungs and the oxygen that comes through, and and then you wake up to being a body. It takes the cake, and those enzymes were before, where you were like breaking things down and getting sugar and sending it to the cells, turning things into ATP and making energy, and being the energetic little ever ready bunny battery things, So from that perspective, right, that shift, so just from the ATP and the energy, right, of that engagement of enzymes and creation, purpose, productivity, right, creating something and there something being generated from that action, that whole engagement, and then opening up on then as a human being. Well, you're aware if you have energy or if you don't have energy. You're aware if you're digesting well or not digesting well. But most people aren't conscious of their enzymes or conscious of those processes, right? And the reality shift, the perspective shift in each of those is dramatic. And then what before was compelling, right? So as an enzyme is compelling to meet the protein that you're supposed to break down. That's compelling, and engaging in that process. Or as the intestines having peristalsis, having a gentle movement that you wave, right? You are that waving, and you're this gentle softness that moves all the time. And that movement is compelling. And then as consciousness surrenders through each of those, and then opening up as the waking up as the human body, then other things are compelling. And these are the inside pieces that attention is no longer really engaging with. They're not as compelling. And it can keep going smaller, right? The enzyme, you can go down to the molecular level, and molecules having their I don't know what the right word is, their magnetic attraction or pull to combining or binding or releasing or engaging, right? They have their function, what's compelling to them, and the atoms inside that. And so this waking up in these larger dimensional bodies is the same thing. And that what's compelling as a human engaging in particular ways, as you start to open to these larger dimensional aspects of self, what used to be compelling becomes digestion. Where in alignment and wholeness, the system processes itself. And to a greater or lesser degree, depending on the conditioning. And the conditioning are just influences that are part of the play of evolution unfolding and consciousness exploring itself and understanding itself and discovering itself. So the way I'm seeing it is through the core flow, but I'm also seeing the core flow superimposed as just the trajectory of the timeline and evolution and the universe. And I'm present with the purity of being, the brilliance, the light of consciousness, with all the creation unfolding. And that through this long trajectory of evolution, there's the producing of life, and then the digestion, and then the byproduct and the breakdown and the return to nothing. And it can be, I don't know, funny in a way, like if you've been living your life as an enzyme and feeling the gloriousness of being and purpose and meaning, right? The meaning of life, you know, and then as the enzyme wakes up to the human being but dips back into the enzyme, it can feel kind of small and insignificant. And what before had meaning and purpose and was, I am amazing, I'm this amazing enzyme, I get to break down protein, you know, I get to do this, I get to, you know, create this, and then suddenly realizing, oh my goodness, I'm this little itty bitty thing with a whole bunch of other itty little bitty things that are doing the same thing, you know, and with slight differentiations, when really the human body, that's where it's at, that's what it's all about, you know. And so that's like the ego, what we call the ego, starting to wake up to a larger aspect of itself. And it can start judging itself. Oh, I should stop talking to myself because I'm insignificant. Or it's like, or I'm made up, or I'm, right? It's just a transition point. And each expression is essential. and equal. Equal in value and purpose. And in my experience, the more comfortable, the more comfort there is with being nothing and being insignificant, the easier it is for a fluidity through the whole matrix of life. Because it's comfortable being an enzyme, it's comfortable being a god. It's comfortable being compost, it's comfortable being sunlight. Because all are intrinsically one happening.